Max suit abilities are very unbalanced. Namely, 2 abilities are nigh useless and 1 is quite overpowered. In this video, I'm going to explain exactly what it is, specifically, that makes each of these abilities unbalanced. After that's been identified, we can talk about how each of them could be fixed. The new Conglomerate Aegis shield is bad. Allow me to demonstrate why with this clip. And there you have it. I could just stop right here and move on. But allow me to continue on and explain why the whole idea of the shield itself is flawed. Now, much of the design of the shield is based on the notion that a skilled user can react to a threat by quickly raising the shield and then lowering to return fire, that a skilled player can play reactively. This is completely impossible due to the limitations of latency. Here's a clip to illustrate what I'm talking about. Watch as I try to react to an incoming rocket. On his client, my character has not yet raised the shield, thus the rocket connects. Damage in PlanetSide is based around client-side hit detection, which means that if you hit on your client, the server sends the notification to the other player who then takes the damage. It doesn't matter if on your client he could possibly have hit, because you were around a wall or any other reason. Now watch from the other perspective. On our screen, it appears that the Max had poor timing, but from the previous demonstration, we can tell that it was the latency. By the time the rocket hits on my screen, it's only halfway to him on his. As you can see, it is in fact impossible at this range to use this ability reactively. The only way to use the ability is to walk around with it turned on, which is turning yourself into C4 bait. Obviously, I may have exaggerated this effect by playing on the test server from the West Coast. But even in the best case scenario, latency is unavoidable. In the Ultimate Squad Showdown, contestants sat directly in front of the other teams competing. But all of them were playing on the Connery server. Vegas to Connery is about 50 ms or so. Everything has to go to the server and then come back. That means that even sitting right next to each other, there could be 100 ms difference between what's happening on everyone's screen. As you can see, this ability is flawed in a very fundamental level. To make it viable in its current design would require a better equip time and more coverage from the shield. Another option would be a redesign. The shield would suffer less client-side issues if it covered the whole Max, like a Vanguard shield. The shield health would need to be lowered to about a decimator round and the regen cut way down. TR lockdown is bad. Allow me to demonstrate why with a clip. Something that's been a universal truth in every FPS game is that mobility is life. Anything that sacrifices mobility had better be worth it. Lockdown is absolutely not. Let's talk about the Prowler lockdown and what makes it a sometimes useful ability. Prowler lockdown is useful in situations where the range is so great that the need to be evasive lessens. It is also useful in ambush situations where the Prowler gets the first shot and has the opportunity to kill its opponents before they can react. As you can see, the situations where Prowler lockdown is useful are situations that minimize the risk of locking down to the Prowler. The issue is that Maxes and CQC have less opportunity to minimize the risk. CQC is exceptionally dangerous, no matter how you cut it. Extra DPS can only go so far. Lockdown currently gives 35 to 50% increased rate of fire. In the original PlanetSide, it gave a plus 100% rate of fire increase, with pinpoint accurate cone of fire, no bloom. Even then, the ability was so useless that they eventually completely redesigned it into an ability which gave increased movement speed. In order for Lockdown to become useful, the risk of going stationary has to somehow be reduced. Increasing the speed of entering and leaving Lockdown could help with this, but it wouldn't be enough. Another solution is to give the TR Max increased damage resistance while in Lockdown, at least enough that it would take an extra decimator round to kill a Lockdown Max. The VS Zealot Overdrive is overpowered, to say the least. It's hard to start any discussions over this ability that don't eventually draw the ire of Raider X, but it is undeniably the best of the Max abilities, and by a large margin. The main factor which makes Zoe overpowered is its mobility. The increased mobility means that one cannot skirmish with the Zoe Max. It will simply chase you down and kill you. It's hard to ambush the Zoe because it has such an ability to escape. Even when fighting head-to-head, it can be extremely evasive. There's nearly no situation that this ability is weak and nearly no reason to ever turn it off. You will notice that players don't even say VS Maxes anymore. They say Zoes. The developers have attempted to balance Zoe in the past through adjusting the damage penalty that Zoe takes. The issue with this sort of approach is that that stat does not have a linear effect on the Max's performance. It has a threshold. The damage resistance with Zoe on will either be enough, or suddenly not enough, in which case everyone will immediately stop using Zoe and go back to charge. What the source of frustration for the players is the speed. Almost any counter which players can think of is thwarted by the Zoe's maneuverability. The easiest approach would be to just lower the speed bonus. Another solution would be to remove the speed bonus from strafing and reversing. The Max abilities have been in the game for quite a while now. There have been a lot of ideas out there about how to balance them. Add yours to the discussion. The solutions don't have to be mine. I merely tried to create ones that required the least development. But please, keep in mind the issues that I've gone over. Going after the issues directly is the way to balance.